Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
I'm doing good.
Thanks. I hope you're doing good, but I'm glad that you're doing well.
Thank you.
Hello to all of the newly joined listeners out in the world. This week we gave a shout out to everyone from the Netherlands. So, welcome. I probably totally offended everybody there from the Netherlands.
I think they like when you mock them.
Sound like an idiot, yeah. No, we're super stoked to have you. I am happy to be able to announce that we have listeners there, and from so many other awesome places, and that's one of the things that I talk about. People are like, "Hey, how's the podcast going? How's your success?" Blah blah blah. And it's not about that for me, but what I get really ratcheted up on is when I find out in our stats, I'm like, "Oh wow, somebody new just joined from like Morocco." That's awesome.
I love the Netherlands, man. I send a lot of product out there. Hello, customers from Netherlands.
Thank you, Jared Brandon Pickup.
This is so funny. I'm going to agree. Everyone I've ever had from not only the Netherlands, but like Sweden, Finland, Scandinavia, fantastic people to work with.
I got a lot of Swedish and Norwegian pals at school that I went to. There was a huge number of Swedish and Norwegian people because it was one of the main like transfer schools out to this art school. Laguna College of Art and Design, shout out. What's up? I don't know. Nobody's.
How are you?
Hello.
Okay. Anyway, so we are glad that you are with us. Today we are going to finish up our pickup series.
About time.
I know. Jared's going to wrap up our series with a pickup grab bag. So all the things that basically aren't a straight single coil or a straight humbucker in the truest sense, we are going to cover, and that is going to be a lot of fun. But first, let's talk about. There's a conference call going on in the room next to us. The perils of doing this where we do it. Anyways, so if you hear some smashing and yelling and stuff, that's what that is. But let's talk about what we had going on in our music worlds this week or thereabouts, gentlemen. Chris.
Not a ton.
Wrong answer.
We have begun construction on a new studio, a new mastering studio, so that's kind of cool. That's the main thing.
That's rad.
Yeah. Pretty excited about that.
In the same place?
Yeah. So we have a big, huge basement in our house, and I work down there now. We've got a specific studio set up. We want somewhere a little bit bigger, so we're clearing out a bunch of space, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Cool, man.
It's gonna sound better.
Bigger,
and we're gonna use. We're gonna go to a mill that mills trees, like actually cuts them into boards, and get the bark boards that are cut off. They're like sort of half round. Yeah. And then I'm going to get those milled so they're straight on the sides, and at least 2 out of the 4 walls are going to be trees.
Oh, that's fun. That's rad.
And there'll be a gap in between them.
And that'll help with the sound.
Yeah, it'll be a natural diffuser.
That's awesome.
And it's going to sound totally kick-ass and be cheap, too. And be beautiful. So
and cheap, beautiful, and sound amazing.
Win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it.
So how many people are in this basement?
Just me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said we. That sounds like more than you.
It's like me and my wife.
Oh, okay.
We make decisions together.
Well, that's nice.
Like this,
you ask her.
Yeah.
Her opinion.
Why? No. That's so bad. I didn't mean that.
Yeah,
I'm sure she's a lovely.
You meant that.
I'm sure she's a lovely woman. She's no lady.
She's fantastic.
That's my woman.
She's
that's
supportive.
Gonna be that. That's my smash hit country song. I'm now that I've actually said that, somebody's actually going to use that, and I'll be like, damn it! I've been saying that for years.
It always happens that way.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have more questions.
Oh yeah, ask away.
Go
boy.
ahead.
Is that the most elaborate part of it, or are you doing other treatments?
There's going to be all kinds of treatments and a lot of like the standard like rock wool, lots of that. But the big thing I wanted to focus more on diffusion than absorption on this one, and like the more research I've done on diffusion. Diffusion is when sound hits something and instead of just reflecting back, it reflects back in like a million different ways.
Yeah.
Tree bark is just about as
Yeah.
the most diffusive material known to man. So hopefully ash, something with a real thick, deep groove in it, and that will it'll be off the wall a little bit, so it'll be a bass trap with
Behind
gaps
it.
in between it. But yeah, beyond it'll be a bass trap, but it itself will decimate.
I got a question.
Go for it.
So,
Yes, Michael, go ahead.
whoa. So,
I don't know what that was.
when you, I'm full of those little sounds, man. I can't help it. So when you think you have the room sound, what do you call it? Sound
Diffused.
Purdy?
Yeah, whatever.
Purdy's the technical term.
How do you test it? Do you record a bunch of music or whatever when you think you have it down, and then is there some program you run the file through? Like, how do you know it's right where you want it to be?
There's two philosophies on that. One is that you use special measurement microphones and software, and you do sinusoidal sweep tones, so boom in the room, and then you measure
Test
it,
noises.
and you're making sure. And a lot of that's done beforehand by how you design the room.
We
But
got to come over and sit in on one of your sessions.
it'd be
I
fun.
just invited myself.
Do it.
I think it'd be awesome. I would love to learn about that.
It's probably not as interesting. It's so technical, so you're like diving in of like, I'm going to adjust the attack on the fourth compressor.
Yeah.
So it's
I've sat in
that
on
sounds
those
awful.
kind of things before.
Actually.
You'll be like, did you hear it? Did you hear it?
Did you hear that?
When I was
It's
a kid,
0.1%
No.
better.
Damn.
Now I'm going to go
Kid-
do that 100 more times. and
my
then it's gonna
dad
sound great.
recorded a demo when he was a kid, and they had to take me out and take me to McDonald's because I was so disruptive. I can't say it.
Because you were so hungry.
Fidgety. Yeah,
I'm hungry,
I ate
let's
like
go
4
eat.
Big Macs that day, man. They tried everything they could to calm me down.
Feeding you Big Macs, I don't think is the way to calm you down.
Oh, man, I was like,
It worked.
I was like 8 years old, man. And do you want another Big Mac? Yes.
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, there's the science, but then it's like anything else. I think personally, many people would disagree with me, but I think there's also a lot of like, do you like how it sounds too? You have to goof around and experiment and make adjustments. And
I like your idea on the going natural. It's kind of like some architects have designed buildings after cactus because of the way they're structured. Wind and torrential winds can't knock those things over just because of the way they're naturally shaped. It's pretty interesting.
So is this going to be like a nudist recording area, mastering area? All natural?
oh yes,
Nice.
That'd be interesting.
my grandma always says, Chris, it must be so nice you don't have to get dressed up when you go to work. And I always say, sometimes I don't even get dressed. But
Oh.
it's actually pretty true. So yeah. To hose off my
TMI.
office chair every 3 weeks.
Oh man.
Are you getting new
awful.
gear as well to go with this?
There'll be some new gear.
Okay, good.
We can talk more about
We'll do that
single
later.
ended triode amplifiers and
Oh yeah, we were going
full
to do
range
that. We
speakers.
never did do
We
that.
should.
We'll
That's
do
part of
that.
the plan.
Let's do that.
Humongous full range speakers.
Let's do that Sunday.
One of the speakers in the new thing. Let's do it.
Sunday we'll do that.
Yeah, not
Call
today,
me.
Sunday.
Call me.
Do it. Let's do it.
Okay, moving on.
That's
That was
serious.
that was terribly interesting.
Terribly.
Jared.
Oh man, I'm still thinking about what he talked about.
What, being nude?
I
without
think
pants?
I lost what I well. No, what's new in mine?
Did you get new pants?
No.
Okay.
I got to sew a button on one of my pants though. Glad you said that. No, I've got a 62 SG, a Gibson, and I put the original pickups back in that. But that's pretty cool, and I played it, and that sounds really. That's one thing I did this week. But what I really want to bring up is I've got a Stratocaster neck I bought like 4 years ago off of eBay, and you buy a blank neck and it's the wood that you're excited about. It's a maple,
Most
hard
people
maple,
are.
and it's got bird's eye all over the place. It's like just filled with bird's eye, and it's pretty and blah blah blah. And I tried
on the fingerboard.
everywhere.
Wow,
Pure maple.
Is it a solid? So there's no laminate on top.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's
Okay.
probably both. It's just there's the board is probably bird's eye and the back is probably
Okay,
bird's
so
eye.
just kind of took it from the same piece.
Yeah.
Of
Well,
wood or something.
the person who sold me the neck, I said, I want a shape like this, and it totally didn't come that way.
What shape?
I wanted it shaped like a late 80s, early 90s Fender Strat Plus model neck. They're slim taper. They're slim and wide. They're
Okay.
I just love those kind of necks, and it didn't come that way. It came like a C shape
Eesh.
and real stratty, and I was like, eh. So I just kind of tossed it in the corner, and my buddy that lives down the road that builds guitars, I gave it to him. I said, hey man, reshape this thing, just make it different than what it is, refinish it, because I sprayed that amber lacquer crap you get at StewMac. Well, actually that's good stuff if you know what you're doing. But
Wait,
I
you
sprayed that.
lacquer all over your.
I don't know what I'm doing
Yes,
when I'm using that stuff. I'm terrible.
Right.
You're supposed to
And I
finish
didn't know
them.
what I was doing.
You are supposed to finish the maple necks.
You are supposed to,
On the
but
front, yeah.
On the
it
front.
it looked too ambery to me, and I was
Oh.
like, it
Yeah,
looked
every
too
once in a
dark
while I
and
see
weird.
those at like music around. You're like, what's these
Super,
orange
super orange,
necks?
yeah.
What is?
It's really aged. No, I said just lay off strip it down, reshape it, refinish it nice,
Smack it, flip it, rub it down.
put a 50s Fender logo on it, and he did. It looks awesome. And I'm probably gonna find a relic old looking body for it or something. I know some of you guys don't.
How
like
old
that.
is the neck, by the way?
I don't know how the wood is, but
No, I mean, but it like so. Are we talking radical different headstocks, like CBS headstock?
no,
or-
it's just a plain Fender looking.
Okay.
50s, 60s, and then
Do you guys like the? I like the big CB. I don't know what it is.
CBS
I think the
headstocks?
CBS headstocks are awesome.
I think they are too.
Yeah,
yeah, you can get a
They're
bigger logo on it.
ridiculous, but they're great.
it's yeah.
I don't know why they
It's
did
just
that.
the rest of the guitar that I hate.
How was it?
From the nut down, is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Was it more productive to make that thing bigger? That's what I want.
It was different.
That's probably what they were going for.
We need
That's
to
the
make
only
this
damn
different.
thing
We
they
need to make it
changed.
ours. We need to let everybody know we're taking over.
Other than taking one of the screws out of the neck joint.
Yeah.
They made a 3. Well, anyway, now we're just talking about vintage Fenders. So
Way
anyway,
to
I
go.
want to find a real nice, a quality body for it, and I don't know where I'm gonna get it. I might just look for something random.
Why
on
don't you
eBay.
have your guy build you one, man?
I don't know. He's too busy.
Why don't you build one?
Doing
You
everything.
Why don't
needed
you
a
build one?
project.
You need to build one with me. Well, I'm gonna build one too.
I don't have time.
I've been meaning to build one. I have a hollow body telly.
Do you guys not realize how
Idea Foundry and bust it out, dude?
That'd be
carving
nice.
out a Fender Strat body has got to be like an advanced kind
What?
of thing?
What do you mean, routing it out or carving it?
Carving, routing,
Just buy the
getting the right
program.
shape.
Just
I
get the
mean,
program and it'll do it all for you.
well, then you're not doing it. You're not hand doing it. The program does it.
Yeah.
Well, no one hand builds them anymore.
You burn it out the old way, the cavemen did.
Like a dugout canoe.
Yeah.
I just want to get it together, man. Put some pickups in it that I build, and I could demo them or something. I don't know.
What kind of? Are you thinking about what kind of body?
50s, preferably, I
Like
guess.
50 Strat. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna look like an old 50s Stratocaster.
Like
So
burst.
no, I think a custom color.
You tend to go for the flashy bits.
I do.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was talking to Todd about this the other day. It would be rad if you had a guitar where the pickup holes, maybe like where it was routed all the way through the guitar,
Yeah.
so that you could take various pickups.
Gibson made a model like that.
Really?
Yes, they
I
did.
did not know that.
I don't know the model number, but I know they made those, and they're rare, but you can buy them, and they make pickups. And they're in a slightly larger casing that they encase the pickup with, so you could just quick change.
DiMarzio's got to have that in their factory because they already have the plug and play.
That's true.
DiMarzio has those, right? Or is it?
Gibson has them. I know that.
No,
for
but
sure,
I mean, when you
Not
get
the
aftermarket
solderless.
pickups,
Yeah.
it's the solderless ones.
Yes,
They're the ones who have that,
Plug.
right? Yeah.
Gibson did that now too.
Did they?
I don't know if they still do that, but they have.
Let's take
They
the
have
fun
plugs.
out of it. Screw that.
I would
noise.
love to see a video of somebody with a guitar like that. That's like, this is PAF humbucker, and then
I guarantee you,
this is
there's got to be one, man.
Da-da-da.
If
And
those
then-
Gibson guitars are out there. It's
You need
got
to
to
do
be
that.
on YouTube.
All you got to do, man, is
That's
get
what-
some crappy
that's your new
Les
guitar
Paul
body.
or Epiphone Junior.
Yep.
There's like $90 at a used store.
without a carved top.
Carve out the
Yeah.
back, figure out a rig, slap it in there, do it.
like this neck I bought, the bird's eye. It
Oh,
looks
you got
so
a bird's
good.
eye neck?
It's super bird's eye. Bird's eye, bird's eye, bird's eye, bird's eye. So, and I've had it for so long. It's been like sitting up on the water lines up into the ceiling in the basement. I'm like, I got to do something cool with this thing. So finally, I'm doing something cool with it. So that's what's going on in my world right
Good,
now.
man.
That's not just pickups.
That sounds like an awesome adventure. I'm serious. Like, I'm getting so much pressure from my family. Like, dude, why haven't you made a guitar yet? Like, I have no problem going down that road. It's just, the neck thing, the neck scares me. The building it, like refretting, working on the board, like anything on the top of the neck, I'm cool with.
People go to school for that.
Shaping it, routing out the truss rod, all that business. I'm like, man, that seems like some serious science. Like,
A lot of people just buy. it
well, I know,
finished. Yeah,
but I'm getting pressure. No, don't do that. Like,
You got to carve it out of the tree in the back.
I wouldn't do that. I would get the frets already in. Get like a mighty mite neck.
Yeah.
It's the fretwork alone is.
I'm an all parts
Yeah.
dealer. You can get stuff half off there if you want.
What?
Here I
You're
am
just now
talking about it.
telling
My wife's gonna be
awesome.
so mad at you.
I am an all parts dealer. That's
man.
true, but I'm not going to give everybody that's listening the deal because that would be bad for me.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. I can't wait to hear more about this.
I like this
Yeah.
idea though of swapping the pickups. Like that should be your body. You should make that for testing pickups.
Totally. If you made a
And then you can-
video of you demoing all of the pickups that you make in one guitar without changing the strings,
Yeah, but it'll be in a Strat. So I mean, you could do all the single coils and
But
stuff.
you could, yeah.
but it would still
and
be
then but having a different one that's like
and you could
Les Paul
slide the
style.
pickup back and forth.
yeah.
We'll have Lincoln
Different
guitars.
positions.
Instead of a wah-wah pedal, your
like a
actual
Dan-
your pickup slide.
like
that
an Armstrong.
could work.
Oh, yeah. Like the monkey stick thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are crazy.
crazy pants. All right, Hefe, what you got?
What is new? I got all my stuff back from Jay.
Did you really?
That was exciting.
Jay Donovan, we miss you,
We
little
do.
buddy.
We do.
We
So-
miss you, Aaron Cook too. Doggone
Who's
it,
that?
you dirty bastard.
Aaron Cook. Sounds
He was
familiar.
the bald guy with the beard. He was really angry all the time.
Well, we got
Looked
a
like he was
bald
on
guy.
Veep.
The beard. Semi-beard.
What's that?
Nothing?
Huh?
Yeah, this is a shadow. Shadube.
Me and Jay have never been on a podcast together. Never were on a podcast together.
No.
I met him one time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Did you shake his hand?
I think I did.
Ooh, that's not a good idea.
Smelled like cabbage. What?
Smell like cabbage. Okay, so do tell. What's going on?
I may have talked about this before, so I'm not sure, but the idea of different amp models running through different cabinets. Did we talk about this? Say yes, say no.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, now that I have my
tell.
other cabinet back, I can run like true different amp sounds out of two different cabinets and try to do the blended cabinet or the blended amp sounds.
I tried to do that.
I know,
You
I
were,
thought we
like,
talked
giving me
about
all
this.
The bad. You were like, that's don't do that. That's dumb.
No, you're talking about something. completely
Yeah, if you
different.
don't have the grill cloth that goes with that speaker,
It
not
won't
gonna
sound right. It won't sound right.
Oh no, I was talking about actual speakers.
This is Amp Sim with
Amp Sim.
full range cabinets.
Oh,
yes.
gotcha.
So I can run like a Marshall amp with a Fender amp and try to do the dual amp.
I love that
Sounds.
idea. We did a recording one time where I had this wacky jalopy. The parts in it were redunculous. It was like It was a Randall, big giant Randall half stack from the '80s, closed back, just super scoopy. And then we also ran
Super Scoopy. That's a great name.
Super
for something.
Scoopy. And then we also ran.
That's a new pickup you could put right there.
Oh, Super Scoopy.
Yeah, Super Scoopy.
You got the mid scoops, right?
Super
Did I make
scooper.
Or
Super
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Scooper.
Yeah.
Scoopy Doopy Doo.
I'll have Hanna-Barbera all over me.
There you go.
What?
Yeah, don't say the actual name or else we'll really be screwed. Don't do it. But anyways,
Yeah.
so this big dumb Randall half stack and an AC30 blended, and it sounded awesome. I love
So
it.
that's the challenge. Is actually the blend is not as easy as you'd hoped it would be.
No.
No.
Well,
There's a lot of weirdness that goes on, and it's like certain ones will work together nicely, and certain ones just sound like total junk.
in the sim world.
I think it's in general.
Okay.
Everything I've been reading about, like, well, you can't just take this amp and mix it with this amp and it sounds great. There's a lot of kind of pick and choose and test, and these work well together, but these
Yeah.
do not. So it's been kind of interesting.
Mark
to-
DeCenzo, our mutual friend, would have much
Yeah.
to say about that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he would have.
Yeah.
I'd actually really love to have him on to talk about speakers. I was talking to him when I was looking for my cabinet. I mean,
On behalf of Mark,
holy
he's just going
crap.
to say, get a greenback, get a greenback, get a greenback.
that is
That was
true.
done. All right, done.
Yeah.
That is true. But aside from what kind, just all of the. What the hell was that?
Was yawning.
Oh, that's how you
It's how I fight off a yawn, you know.
You're thinking about those Big Macs. Right?
You're giving it hell right there.
Oh
I'm thinking
man.
about Mikey's late night slate.
So yeah, we were just talking about like paper in a used speaker, like the flexibility. Like, holy crap, we're going down so much detail. This is Mark. I got to get you on here and do this. But it's interesting because you're talking about amp blending, which could give you a blended sound. But when I was talking to you, I was talking about, hey, I've got a twin cab. Why not mix up the speakers in it to get a blended sound? You're like, no, that's stupid. Don't do it.
I have
Never
an
said
Ernie
stupid.
ball.
Idiotic,
said-
foolish.
I said,
Wouldn't
it's,
one be stronger
is
than
it worth the
other?
money and effort to do it?
Could be.
Because you're not going to know what you end up with, is what I was getting at. You're going to spend money, you might end up with something like, oh, I don't like that at all.
I have an Ernie
true.
Ball stereo volume pedal. So it's a volume pedal, but if you kick your foot to the left,
Yeah.
you hit a lever and it switches it from normal volume to pan.
That's weird.
And so
Who's
gotta
got
see
time
this.
to do that on stage?
I see this.
well, I used to run a rig in total stereo, so I would do ping pong delay left and right with an acoustic with two direct boxes.
In my language.
Pan it left and right, and so you could get this crazy space even as a solo artist. And but you could.
That sounds like some Dave Matthews crap or something.
It was pretty fun. But you can do it with electric guitar amps, where you can have your guitar going in the front and the mono left in or whatever right in, and then you have two amps on the other side, and you can pan
Throw
back
it.
and forth and somewhere in between to get a blended.
See, now that sounds like a Steve Vai move, like where I can see him holding his guitar straight by the whammy bar and flinging his big cape and then going, wow, wow, wow.
Or Jimmy Page with the Fairman.
No, it's completely
That
different.
is totally different.
No,
Completely
it's
different.
not, man. He uses his, just like you were using his arm to control the weird sound to make it look like it. That's
Yeah.
what Jimmy
Oh, you're
Page
saying-
did, and song
okay.
remains the same.
Yeah, no, we talked
I'm a big
about
fan of
that.
stereo
Did
theremins.
it pan, though?
You know,
Stereo
and as
mins?
far as the stereo thing, it all depends where you're actually standing while you're playing.
Yeah.
You moved a little bit to the right, it sounds weird. A little to the left, it sounds different.
Yeah. That's the same problem with different amp styles. It's the cancellation of frequencies, and it gets you in a weird spot sometimes.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
used to
I
love
love
to do
about stereo.
doubles when I was doing stereo. So I would do a lot of looping. So I would double apart and paint it hard left, then double it and paint it hard right. Everyone's basically
So to make you sound like you got a full band behind you.
yeah. So everybody, it sounded reasonably the same no matter where in the room you were standing, but it sounded really kick ass in the middle of the room because
Boy,
it was
that sounds like
super
an
thick.
awful lot to think about.
It
when
really
you're-
was.
That's
It was too much. It
bonkers.
was very
That's
stressful.
like one of that's the only thing you could do to make that more complicated would be using one of those guitarps
Oh yeah, there's a guy from
while
Columbus.
you're doing it.
What was his name that used to do that sort of stuff?
Is bananas.
I can't remember his name. He's one of the best in the world. He didn't live in Columbus anymore. He moved like 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
And what did he do?
he played like harp guitars and had all kinds of crazy looper pedals. And
You know the guitars that have that like it looks like a medieval instrument. It's got a guitar, and then usually up on the top strings is like the beyond the neck, like the headstock curves up, and then
It's got all these other strings.
or even kookier is the ones that where the harp strings
There's an
run
auto harp at the bottom.
underneath your actual strings diagonally.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
crazy.
Nah, I got
Like
time
that
for
thing?
That.
They're quite
Ain't nobody got
expensive.
time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell's up with those things?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I've never seen someone play one of those live. I think that's
I
just
haven't. It was
bananas.
bonkers.
That neck's got to be one of the strongest necks. That guitar with the bass, but the bass strings don't have a neck.
Oh, right.
The
I see.
headstock of that.
You know
I'm
what-
sorry, listeners.
You know what those
you're
are
not-
probably are? That's probably those silicone strings.
Bill Dutcher.
Right.
That's the guy's name.
Bill Dutcher. Good old Bill
He lives
Dutcher.
I think he's from Columbus, but now he lives in like Arizona or something. But this guy was bonkers. I mean, he was like world class, and he would play those harp guitars and play out a lot around here, and it was crazy.
He was probably Irish.
Cerebral. It's a good word. to
All
describe
right.
it.
So
Did you
yeah.
ever see a guy play the Chapman stick?
I've seen that on YouTube.
There's a guy I knew that played one, and it was phenomenal.
The
watching him play.
Chapman stick.
Chapman stick.
Is that the
all
aluminum
hammer-ons.
pole guitar?
Sorta. It's like a huge wide
pole.
fretboard, and you basically
Oh,
play
that's
it like
not
a piano.
at all
Like this.
Oh yeah.
Chapman
It's like double,
stick.
two-handed.
Yep.
It's like
yep.
a,
Yep.
You got to be careful how you say that, man.
Yeah. No, that's weird.
It looks like if Rambo
I mean,
played
are
a
you
guitar,
actually
that's
playing
what
guitar
Rambo
at
would
that
play.
point? Really?
it's very Stanley Jordan-esque. Like you're chording on one hand and
Yeah.
doing
yeah.
other stuff on the other. And, but there's a lot of strings on there.
If you've never seen a Chapman stick, you should Google it. You should pull
Yeah,
your car
I mean,
over
it
to the
is-
side of the road and
It is
Google it.
pretty amazing to watch, but I think for like maybe 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch more than that.
He played like more rock style tunes,
Yeah.
so it wasn't just instrumental nonsense.
I don't know.
It was
It's not for
distorted
me.
and
Yeah, I think that's kind of over
interesting.
the edge. I like the idea of just having a bass player and a couple of guitar players.
Yeah.
And I don't
Bass-
need
It's
why
been
do you want a bass
done.
player?
Yeah.
You just get in the
It's been
way.
done.
Well, I could play the drums while I play the guitar, while I play the
Oh, well, they got
keyboards,
that
while I
too
do
with
this
the
and
with
that.
the the electric pads that you can slap.
That's
Anyways.
what I used to tour.
I could
and-
see you needing something like the drum sticker.
Well, I would just hit my acoustic in different spots to make it sound like a drum and then loop
Yeah.
that. But it was great back when people bought CDs because I didn't need to. There's a picture of Captain Kirk playing a Chapman. Captain Kirk?
man.
No.
Oh.
Captain
Jean-Luc Picard.
Jean-Luc Picard.
That is freaking ridiculous. What is that? That's an Indian instrument. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, let's see.
Okay.
the looper pedal was great because you didn't have to pay any band members. So like you could actually go and play a show and be like, "Hey, I made
Just
a lot
out
of
of
money tonight."
curiosity, what kind of
Yeah.
looper pedal did you use? Because I am thinking about getting one.
I've had many of them. I've had just about everything.
Most people have the Ditto.
I had the Boss RC20 and the Boss RC50, but my favorite is from a small company in Texas called Boomerang Musical Products.
I heard
Really?
of those.
Boomerang, they're great.
I see. I'm gravitated towards, and I don't know what I'll have to look up Boomerang, or Jeff's gonna look up Boomerang.
I
but
am?
I like the idea of. I'm a visual guy, so I like the Boss with the radial readout of like, and that's as much as you have to go.
Those can be useful on the Boss one because you can store stuff in there and then pull it up and use it live. The Boomerang is great. I got to help designing
Holy
it a little bit,
crap.
actually. It's the smaller one, is the newer one. But
There's nothing small about
What's
that.
the small one you're pointing
yeah,
at?
it's pretty huge. The one on the far left, it used to
I
be
mean,
like
that's as big as a Ouija board, dude.
How long would
Well-
it take to actually get used to that before you felt comfortable
long
doing
time.
doing a show?
What's cool about that is you've got 4 different looping sections on the
That
Boomerang.
better be one hell of a coffee shop that you're rolling.
That it was fun, but each loop is synced to every other loop. So your master loop, you would go like one chugga 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 chugga.
So you don't have to tap tempo
chugga,
each loop.
Exactly.
That's
and then
smart.
they would stay all synced up together, and then you could pull them in and out, and it was stereo. So you would have various stereo loops.
What
It
does
was-
a Boomerang 3-phase sampler run? Do you know?
I think I'm gonna say $399. That's about what
that's
I
about
paid.
right.
That was a
Couldn't
while
you
ago.
just make an app for your iPhone?
No, man. Screw iPhones and live guitars.
What makes the boomerang
Unless that
so-
works for you, then that's great.
What makes the boomerang so great is the pedal that you actually push. The button moves less than a millimeter, I would say.
Yeah.
So
it's more just like a soft touch.
sorta. There's definitely a click when you hit it, but because it's so rhythmic, you can't very easily use like Boss's style of pedal,
Right.
Because you hit that thing and it goes like 3 inches into the ground before it actually engages,
Right.
And you don't know really where it's going to engage. With that, you just tap it.
I see what you're
and-
saying.
and you're going to be perfect.
Interesting.
That's the most important thing about a looper.
Absolutely,
You
absolutely.
could Jimmy rig that Boss to have a soft touch though.
You can, and you can
type
do
of
external
switch.
pedals
Yeah.
and whatnot. You could basically do whatever sort of pedal you wanted with the Boss, but the
I just
boomerang
want
was
the radial
cool.
readout. I just want to know like how much do I have? Am I up? Like where am I on the?
Well, a lot of the newer the pedals, the time length is not the issue. I think the boomerang, I mean, it's minutes and minutes and minutes of looping. Like
Yeah.
you'd have to be. I think the RC50. I don't know what the latest one is, but it's got to be an hour and a half at least. Like, like you're not gonna run out of
Who is
space.
doing that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, you'd have to be bonkers. What some people will do
Stickman's doing that.
is with the Boss and the other ones. And I'm a little out of date on this. I apologize for that, but if you're going to play to a track, in the background, or even like droney synth stuff that you want to come pre-recorded, you say, all right, loop number 1, it's going to be that. I'm going to hit loop number 1, and then we're going to begin playing the song.
Yeah.
And it's great because it's not a computer that'll crash on you
Yeah.
during the show.
I like that. Okay, everybody check out the Rang products is what it's called, the Boomerang Music. All right.
Boomerang Music. Yeah, boomerangmusic.com. They're great. But this one guy in Texas, and it was cool because I had the first boomerang pedal, which was nowhere near as good as the third one or the second one.
Man, that's a lot of that is
And
a hell of a.
I got to give him feedback, and he incorporated some of my ideas into the pedal, which was just super fun.
That's cool.
I don't remember what the ideas were.
Was it? Hey,
But I
put this
remember
little
being
state
incorporated in
Texas on it.
Made in Texas.
I think of Texas Instruments when I see that, like the speak and spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TI-83 Plus.
You can't say that after he says speak and spell because clearly that never went further.
Sorry, you're right.
Why can't you say it?
What? No. If you said yeah because of speak and spell and he dropped the scientific calculator name, you're not really gonna know what's probably.
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
See what I'm saying? Everybody else got that.
Fun fact, the
All right.
TI-83 Plus is and has been the most popular graphing scientific calculator in the world and hasn't really changed in like 15 years because they have arrangements, Texas Instruments does, with all these governments, and it's required by curriculum, so they haven't updated their product, but the price hasn't come down.
No, it hasn't.
It's still the same calculator, basically, that I used in high school 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Makes me want to buy one now.
I hate math.
We just had to buy one,
too.
actually.
Hey,
It's
speaking of
ridiculous
math,
for the kids.
oh, one of the.
Jeez, it's pricey.
Yeah, they are. They're super expensive. It's no fun. Hey, speaking of math, so my stuff that I was working on this week
What math?
is
Sorry.
I'm building a new pedal, which I kind of mentioned before, but I decided no. I'm gonna mod the crap out of this thing. I'm gonna take something that is essentially super simple. It's Boost, and I'm gonna make it unsimple, but in a simple way. Go figure. Wrap your head around that one.
I'm working
So we're
on
putting in some whiz bangery that isn't for. It's not for like, oh, look at all the different things this can do, because to me that defeats the purpose of why you have that pedal. But it is making the functionality of it way cooler and way better, and I'm super stoked.
Was your wife like, Todd, you can't build any more pedals? And you're like, yes, I can. I'm putting my foot down.
Hey, no, that was pretty good. That was good, man.
I don't know if it was good.
I liked it. Okay, so
Should I have bypassed?
There's better. That's better.
man, twofer. Okay, so Jared, before we lose you here.
Oh, you wanna talk
We're out of
about
time.
pickups?
Yeah. We that took that.
Sorry.
We just ate a huge chunk of
It's all
time
my
right there.
fault.
So all right, Jared is going to talk to us now about all the things that, well, not all the things, but most of the things that we didn't cover in our first episode, which was single coils. And we specifically left off P90s out of that because I said, I know it's a single coil, but I'd like to talk about it differently.
Yeah.
And then humbuckers, which there are a whole bunch of variants on that. So
P90.
anyways, Jared,
Weird.
Jared,
Yes. Let's do it.
it's your show, dude. Go.
Yeah, let's start talking about. Okay, P90s is what's sticking out of me first because that's right.
Because we're looking at them.
It's sticking out of you.
They're on the big TV screen here, and I see them. But no,
It's like 70 inches. It's very big.
there is not a lot of material difference between a P90 and a humbucker. Now the P90s came around first.
Material difference.
I mean, physical, actual material.
Okay.
The base plate is different. Yes, it is. The plastic bobbins are different because you got one big bobbin to hold all that wire, which is about 10,000 turns of wire for your P90.
Yeah.
Bobbin.
And then you've got two different bobbins that hold 5,000 winds of the same size wire. So
Right.
you have the same amount of wire, and it's around the same output.
And
So,
how many winds does a typical
P90?
single have? Single coil?
average is
7,000.
10,000 vintage spec wise.
Okay.
So close. Usually about 10,000. Yeah.
That's funny.
Keep going.
It's a big number, I know.
No, that's funny. Anyways, I got it.
So anyway,
Do you count that, or do you have like a counter?
oh,
that
I
has
got
a
counters,
It's
man.
counter, man.
Yeah, counters, man.
He hires counters to count it.
All sorts of counters. But
Okay.
go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, like, we're going to completely disrupt at every opportunity. So we have
Please
to.
do.
We have to let
me
you
stretch
get
it
through
out.
this. Go. No, we don't have to stretch it out. We got to compact.
All right. So very similar, very similar. But the way the humbucker is structured is to buck the hum because there's two coils that gets rid of the 60 cycle. So the P90 though, it sounds a little similar, and it doesn't have that real thin strat sound, tele sound that traditionally what we're used to. Because there are, instead of a humbucker where there's one magnet, there's actually two magnets that are inside your P90, and they're the same size. One magnet of those two are the same size as the one magnet powering that humbucker. So you have the way they're laying into the base plate. The south pole is, they're facing each other, and they're right up against those pole pieces, the screws that stick out of the top of that P90, and that creates a south pole magnetic flux. And when the magnetic flux, it goes up the poles, and because it's kind of like a butterfly, maybe not a butterfly. It's so hard to explain if I can't show the viewers a picture. But the flux field splits at the top because
So it comes out like a fountain.
it comes out like a fountain. Think
of the morning glory pedal
exactly.
and how that looks. It comes out the top, but circles back.
Right,
around.
it circles back. So you've got this really wide flux field on a P90. That's where you get your thicker sound, and that works with pretty much all pickups.
Yeah.
If the wider that flux field sound, the magnetic. There's so many different funny terms for it. The bloom, or whatever.
Right.
The larger that, the thicker sound that you have.
So is there a specific reason? I'm assuming has to do with something, but you look at a single coil and they're like teeny weeny.
Yeah.
P90 is technically a single coil,
Yeah.
but it's huge
Of course.
because
There's a lot of wire, and the way the bobbin is structured, all that wire is it's like flat like a pancake. And
Is the P90 the original pickup, and then humbuckers obviously probably came after?
the Charlie Christian is actually,
Oh yeah, and that's P90 ish.
it is ish,
Yeah.
but that's your first rail pickup pretty much.
Huh.
Yeah.
We covered
So-
that in episode
one.
Something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you
So
obviously did not listen to episode.
I'm not caught up.
1. Well, good question.
So what are some of the other differences? Like what makes a P90 when people go, "Oh man, I love a P90." Why do they do that?
Because they're awesome and
They
have
like
good
the
taste
sound.
in music.
I don't know, man. You have that, like I said before, that thicker sound.
Yeah.
But it's still a P90. You still have that
Okay.
single coil chime.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
It's just
like,
a little thicker.
I don't want to say hybrid because it's not.
Right.
But I think both of those qualities, you still have chime and you have that, because, two coils, any way you run them, you're going to cut down on some of that higher frequency.
Right. Well, there's just overlap in them. Okay. So, does the pancake style wind have anything to do with that?
Well, yeah, because your magnets are most of the time your magnetic flux has to go around that or however that.
So it takes a little bit longer to
Right.
get around that.
Yeah, the fountain's wider. of
Right.
that,
There
the
you
magnetic
go. Now we're
fountain
talking.
flux. Yeah. And I'm sorry I'm talking like that, guy. I just want everybody to
No, you need to 'cause
have a
you
visual
have to
here.
illustrate for
Yeah.
those because people aren't watching this.
Yeah, so
I think it might even be helpful to maybe even explain the way electromagnetism works. The
Oh, that
way-
was also covered in
That was?
episode-
Episode 2.
I'm an idiot.
One
I'm
and
sorry,
two.
guys.
That's good. It's good you ask these questions. So people will go back to listen to get the
There you
answers.
go.
See?
We planned this. I'm the sacrificial lamb to get you guys to listen to.
So, okay. So, what I'm trying to get at is when you're looking at a single coil, and I'm trying to break this down to like I am someone who's just now. I'm just learning about this stuff, or maybe I've been playing for a long time, but I still don't know what the heck these are about. They do sound different. It's a much bigger pickup. You talked about that wider magnetic bloom.
yes.
What else is making that? Is it because you've got the same amount of poles, you've got a single coil, you've got the same amount of winds, and it's all the same materials. So I'm looking to try to figure out, like, okay, clearly there's a size difference, but
The magnetic bloom difference, now going back to comparing that to a humbucker,
Yep.
it's not such a huge difference in my opinion as far as the thickness of the tone, because you still have a slightly large magnetic bloom when you have a humbucker.
Yeah.
But you also have the complexity of two coils. You're going to have a different just different frequencies. But I lost my train of thought. So
you have
the-
derailed.
I know. So the P90, it's basically how it's all structured together, and how strong the magnets are. That's a huge factor.
Okay.
How many winds you have? How thick is the wire? How
Okay.
is it wound tight? Is it wound loose? There's so many different little
Right.
differences, and there's so many variables we can.
I'm going to poke on something real quick. So
ahead.
I gave you my Telecaster Custom 2 that had the it's dual P90s in it.
Right.
But they were the Duncan design dual P90s. The bridge sounds awesome. I like it. And you're right. It has that. I mean, the P90 is like right in the middle between the single coil and the humbucker in a very general way of speaking, sound wise. But that neck sounded like a pile of dog crap. I hated it. It's just mud bucket. And you said, well, what we can do is...
No, basically, we could cut back on something major to thin it out. You want to thin out that sound.
Right.
Maybe not so much alone, but if you were going to combine the two pickups together, the bridge and the
I think
and the
you
neck.
even said running a tap it. So
yeah, tap it, and then you know if you want to go back to the thicker actual P90 sound, then,
right,
you know, have a push or a push pull pot.
right.
Have you tried the P90s out of phase with one another, like a Telecaster?
Have you tried running your P90s out of phase?
No, there's none of that's going on.
That I've got the Les Paul double cutaway, the TV yellow one they used to make with two P90s, and I put a push pull pot on it, and
You're out of phase.
it's pretty easy to build. You basically put like an X in the middle of the switch, so that when you pull it, the switch gets flipped and it inverts the phase of one of the pickups, and then it doesn't hum anymore.
Yeah,
It gives you even a more honky sound.
Yeah,
I have that on my Epiphone or my it's an SG. But anyways, none of that is on there. I mean, it's a straight custom Telecaster. So so when you said, you know, maybe we just like cut into about halfway, and that's where you're saying to tap out, right?
Yeah, if you wanted to do that right away, and if you didn't want to do anything like that, hell, man, just roll back on your volume. You know,
Yeah.
that's one thing you can do. You'll get rid of a lot of that mushy mud, and
Yeah.
it'll sound more like a bridge, though. I kind of know. Yeah. I don't know. You kind of want to have them both full bore so you get the actual effect.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just too muddy. You know, there's too much mush there. And I agree with you.
So, you guys have any other questions about P90s, gentlemen? No, that's a negative on Jeff.
Wait, Chris says.
I'd be so curious. I don't know how we would do this. I'd be so curious what percentage of listeners have P90s or have used them or have a strong opinion. It's always so interesting to me when you talk to people that play electric guitar.
Yeah.
Not everybody has used a guitar with P90s on it before.
Social media groups, man, they
I
will
have not.
they will chime in because there's always some guy that asks a question in a social media group.
Yeah.
They chime in, woo, and he'll be like, "Hey, man, P90s or humbuckers? Which one do you like?" And everybody's like, "Oh, P90s. P90s are the best. Humbuckers suck." You know, and all that kind of thing and all that deal. And you'll have guys that swear by P90s all day, man.
So, okay, let me ask this of you. We're kind of looking at a diagram, and it looks like a little tiny factory. Okay, and I'm gonna explain this. You have a base plate. On either side, you have a long rectangular magnet that is very thin, sitting flat on the base plate. In the middle, it has all the pole pieces, so it looks a little bit like a freighter ship almost. And that is your P90, right? Now, I realize that is a single coil, but a single coil does not have those two big thick bars sitting on the base plate.
That's correct, because the poles are actually the magnets themselves.
Right. So we have that may have been the big question solved right there, which is you have two full added magnets.
It's a super powered magnetic machine, right? You know, that's what a P90 is compared to a Strat.
Okay.
You still have the smaller bloom on a Strat because the coil itself is taller.
Right.
And it's not so much pancake.
Right.
So
Okay. You know what, Jeff? Will you capture that? I want to throw that up on the Facebook group.
That's really cool, and
That's very helpful. That right there made me totally get what.
and
the
it's
big difference
incorrect.
is. And it's incorrect, Jeff.
Right.
Don't put that up on
I
Facebook.
already put it up on
group.
Facebook.
You can now if the N's stand for polarity, the two N's on the end should be S.
Well, what if this? Wait a minute.
Yeah, there's no way because
Okay.
on a P90, you have the polarities facing each other.
Uh-huh.
On up against the poles.
Yep.
And that's going to read south. And at the top of those poles, that's going to read south too.
Yeah.
And your north ends of the.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I got
See
you.
what
I
I'm
got you.
saying?
Yeah.
So that diagram is actually.
Wrong.
If-
But it
yeah.
helps to illustrate. So we'll fix it.
It does.
We're going to do a new one. We're going to make one. I'm going to make one.
How fun.
Okay, cool. Well, that was very helpful to understand, where P90s sit because I like the sound of them quite a bit. I would love to have like a gold top with P90.
I got to tell you guys something. It's weird. I've been playing for, I don't know, like 30 years or something. And I've never owned a guitar with P90s in my life until a year ago or so. I'm not kidding. And they do sound phenomenal. They're great.
Yeah. Oh, and there's our lipstick tube. Grab that one too. So, all right, hit us up with a couple others.
Well, on the social media forum, and when I say that, I mean
The social media. It's okay. You can say the actual.
okay, Facebook.
Yeah.
On Facebook pages, like there's a pickup winders forum, and a lot of pickup winders are on there. And some people ask, "Hey, where do you get this stuff? Where do you get that?" So everybody's asking like where you get stuff on there, and I don't tell them because I actually do this for a business. But anyway, some guy asked, "Hey, is there a big difference between the electromagnet pickups that you put in an acoustic guitar versus the electromagnet pickups you put in an electric guitar?"
Oh, that's a good question.
And I was like, no, man, it's the same darn thing. It's the same exact thing. It's always going to sound like an electric guitar because it does the exact same thing. Now,
Right.
if you try to put that pickup into a classical guitar with nylon strings, you're
It's not going to hit.
you're going to get the only metallic strings that are on that guitar.
These are the acoustic guitar pickups that strap like into the middle.
Yeah,
of
like the
hole.
old, like
Like
the
the
old
Dean Markley.
Diarmans. Well, I got one in
Yeah.
the mail today. The old Diarmans and the old Music Mic. I think all these weird little brands. And
Well, wait a minute. So
Go ahead.
the Markleys aren't.
you know what? I don't
Piezo-
know.
I think they're
I-
Piezos.
Well, there's
The wood ones. The wood.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
the wood
And-
one is magnetic. If it goes in the sound hole, it's magnetic, and it is an electric guitar pickup. If it doesn't go in the sound hole, it's probably a piezo crystal
Right.
based pickup.
Piezo.
But there are other variations of that, contact mics and whatnot.
Yeah. The little discs and junk. Interesting. All
It
right.
does sound. I haven't plugged that in years, but I have one of those Dean Markleys.
They're not that bad for being, like
yeah.
$30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I paid a lot more 20 years ago.
All right. Hit me up with wide range, baby.
Wide ranges, Fender's attempt to compete with Gibson's humbuckers, but yet still keep, the Fender thing going on with the pole magnets. And Fender doesn't do that anymore because they don't want to pay to have those made anymore. They're really difficult to put together successfully because you have all these different pieces and it's got to go on right. And if you tap through,
Elaborate on that because that was very general, right?
okay,
They have all these pieces. And
right,
you have to
right.
put them on
A wide
right.
range, yeah. So you have 12 poles, and
Which is interesting because you can only see 6.
you can only see 6. So you have
So you've got
on
6
each
screws
coil,
and 6 lugs, right?
On each coil, you have 6 screws, and 2 of those with the flathead sticking up, and the other 3 that are covered that you can't see.
Right.
The flathead is upside down.
Okay.
It's sticking out of the back of the pickup. So
interesting.
it can be very confusing, and it's if you don't assemble those things right while putting them together, you're just gonna have a heck of a time.
Right.
Like I assemble all the magnets. Now I'm telling my secrets. I assemble the magnets before they're magnetized, and then I just take the whole bobbin itself after they're inside the bobbin, and that's when I magnetize the direction that they need to be.
Oh, that's
north and
interesting.
south.
So that you don't get it all confusing.
Magnets.
There's just 2 really majorly super powerful magnets that magnetize.
Really?
Yeah.
It's magical science. Huh. So, all right. So you're saying that is too.
That's 2 coils.
It's too much of a hassle for Fender to make these, but they sound amazing.
They do, but they make a kind of a humbucker version. It's less output. There's a bar.
That's right. You were telling us that they said, hey, the real way we were doing those, we don't want to do that anymore, but we'll kind of do like
it's not cost
a
effective.
cheap version of it.
Right.
So when you say it's a cheap version of it, how did they essentially cheap that?
The bobbins are smaller, so they could actually reuse those in a different model if they don't want to call it a wide range.
Okay.
So you could stick them both together closer.
I see.
I think they're made overseas too. Even the reissue, they call it the wide range reissue, and they say it's revoiced.
Right.
Listen, man, I don't want to trash Fender, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat what you see out there now.
Yeah, don't sugarcoat it, baby. Drop it on us.
So they're basically a PAF now. They have a PAF output. The only difference is the coils are spread apart from each other a little further.
Okay.
That's the only difference. And they have the same size screws.
Yeah.
But they're steel. They're not magnetic like the original ones are.
I wonder if a Gibson patent expired right around the time that Fender decided to change.
Well, no, because
it's so different, man.
That's an episode number 2.
I'm sorry.
I think it's 3.
No, this is 3.
Okay.
Boy, I sure wish I had listened to those.
So the wide range is in itself totally, I mean, it really does separate itself from everything. And but let me bring up another really weird pickup that
Hold on. I just want to make a real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
The wide range. I never played a wide range except until I played your guitar with wide range pickups in it. And holy crap, I fell in love with that. It was like the dynamics available, and they were also tapped. So he had tapped wide range pickups, and it was like I had 6 guitars. I was really, truly blown away by that.
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
But those were
I didn't get to play
original,
that one.
original wide range. No.
original spec.
I have
Yeah, those
I
were
have gear
your
list
wide
now. I
range.
want one.
Yes, you do.
The
You can
guitar,
bring that
I'm
guitar back
building.
in.
I'm building that thin line telly. Maybe I'll.
Oh, you're doing a thin line test.
I'm having one built right now.
Interesting.
I'm
Okay,
having one
we
built
have
too.
to hold. Have
Well, let's,
another like what is the custom build that we're actually building? That's a whole other episode.
So I wanna bring up this. Did I answer your wide range question? Or you
my
want
what?
to comment how?
Did you answer my what?
No, you
just wanted to
said.
comment.
I just
Say,
want
I'll
him to
let
say
you
it
later.
again.
I'm sorry.
So no,
And it
my,
was wonderful what you said too.
I was
Yeah.
You're
commenting,
right, it's-
I wanted to try. I want the guitar now, so I can try it. Is what my
Okay,
comment is.
all right.
I
That's
didn't get
not
to
a
try
problem.
it.
That's not a problem.
it's the speedboat. It's the funky,
It's fun to look at. It's fun to play.
is.
It
It's
fun to
sounds
look at.
awesome.
It
I
is
didn't get to play it.
heavy duty, like massive.
It's light,
like
but-
fingernail size metal flake, blue speedboat metal flake,
Aqua blue.
Telly custom, and
It's made in Mexico, and the neck is awesome.
the neck is great, but it sounds freaking phenomenal. It sounds amazing. Anyways, okay, hit us with another one.
So here's a really oddball, weird, rare kind of thing, and it may be hard to explain, but I don't care. So Lay's Guitar Repair in Akron, Ohio, really good friends with those guys. They do phenomenal work, and they do oddball stuff as well. They had this old National from the 60s, and the body was shaped like the United States.
That's
I've seen those.
awesome.
And
I
it
want
had-
that.
Yeah, Gibson made one too.
Is the head shaped like Alaska?
Whoa! I don't think so.
What the hell is that?
It's like Woody Woodpecker.
Okay.
Yogi
So
Bear.
anyhow, before I got weird, it's kind of like I don't remember how many pickups were on this thing, but Don, the guy who was working on the thing, he couldn't. When
Were
he
there
got it-
50 pickups?
5.
Oh, man.
And yep.
Sorry.
Boo.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh God, derailing me, man.
Awesome guitar.
So anyhow, these little pickups, and the wiring harness was all jacked up when he got it. Nothing was right, so he couldn't find the right wiring for this thing. But one of the pickups it had this like wooden bridge type thing.
What the hell is that?
Perfect opportunity for me to make a joke. That American-shaped guitar, its infrastructure was all messed up and needed
No!
updating, just like our country.
Whoa!
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Anyways.
The bridge
No more political jokes.
Sorry.
had some sort of wood bridge structure, and there were 2 pole magnets, like Stratocaster size magnets.
Okay.
There were 2 holes drilled that you could slide these 2 magnets inside, and there were these 2 tiny little coils that went around these 2 little pole magnets, and it was
sexual.
supposed to
And let him get through it. You think this is, come on.
it was supposed to pick up like this acoustic-y type. I don't know what the hell the thing was supposed to do, but Don said,
Just like America.
right.
Chris, shut it.
I'm sorry. I
It
can't
was
help
like one of
It's a
those,
disease.
right. It was like one of those adjustable wood bridge thingy
Okay.
doobies. And he said it had to be adjusted exactly right and held just right for it to have, sufficient volume to be functional. But it was a great idea. It didn't work all that great, but I actually had to carve some magnets that fit in this thing, and I did repair it. But that is probably the weirdest, funniest idea I've ever seen.
Did it make sense?
Nah.
I want to see it.
Yeah. You're going to have to
Look up National Guitar.
You can send us a photo of that.
map. Yeah.
Okay, last one. I want to ask about.
You didn't see the pickup because you just didn't see it. You only saw a wire going up to the bridge.
That
You'd
is
have
weird.
to take it apart.
This is weird and fascinating. Okay, my last pickup because we got to move forward. Rails.
Oh yeah. So instead of having poles or screws
Yeah.
or slugs, you have this rail that goes all the way across,
Yep.
and basically you have 2 magnets, kind of like a P90, 2 magnets that you have the same polarity of both the 2 magnets facing that rail up against.
Also
this.
known as blades.
That's
You
right.
could say that.
Blades that
Blades and rails.
and they transfer the magnetic, and they some people like those because especially people that bend a lot.
Oh,
When
yeah,
you-
okay.
Like when you have a concentrated pole in one area, and you bend, especially if you have like a I'm trying to think of a term that everybody will understand, like a widespread humbucker, like a Strat for a Stratocaster. That the poles are real,
They
so
don't
a
align
real
with the
wide,
strings or the strings.
long, yeah. Like if you have your 49.2 millimeter pole spread, a 53, which is a larger pickup. So if you have I'm sorry, I'm losing everybody here. So you have a rail all the way across, you can bend the string and not lose any volume.
Jet.
Is that actually a jet?
It sounds like a jet.
I don't think so. I think they're dragging something.
Okay.
It sounds like a B-52 or something
Yeah.
humongous.
Or like one
Okay.
of those office-y
yeah.
dumpster roller
So
bag.
That might be what it is. Okay, so
I got
the
a question.
blades.
I want to ask a question about
Yeah,
the
ask a
blade.
question. What do you got a question about?
Why would you not always want that,
Yeah,
Man,
Jared.
I don't know, man.
Jared?
It's a great question.
It is a good question.
Okay, so May I think I might have
Yeah,
have
ask
an
a
answer.
question.
I'd love to hear this.
Okay, so wouldn't that create less focus on your strings? Wouldn't you be like theoretically the material in between like your standard pole structures would be picking up stuff on both sides, so it would make it less of a focused sound?
Not really.
Okay.
Agreed.
Not really. That's a good point, but
Help
it's
me
the
understand that,
same,
because
man.
that doesn't make sense.
A great point. I think it's worth pointing out. So
Point it out.
when you, what's a good example here? When you're recording drums, typically you'd have two overhead mics, left
Yeah.
and right. And one of the weird things with recording drums is sound travels at 1,132 feet per second.
I knew that.
So if your snare drum is underneath your left overhead mic, when you hit it, it's going to reach the right overhead mic slightly after.
It'll bleed into it, right?
Yeah, it'll bleed into it, but it will also be unaligned in
Yeah.
the recording. But what's interesting about what we're talking about is magnetic flux travels at the speed of light.
Right.
So there's no delay like there would be with sound. So
Dude, we just reached awesome nerd like nerd elevation.
it's true.
We'll be traveling at about the speed of light for you. Yeah.
Well, let me throw a wrench into that though, because when you tap
Please.
when you tap on a pickup anywhere, when it's live,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you tap. It's always the same
Sound.
Right.
sound,
Yeah.
volume, and
Like
tap.
if you're tapping on a covered humbucker.
yeah.
Well, if you think
So-
about it, yeah, why would it change the sound when you would bend then?
Oh,
Damn.
hell, I don't know.
I would bet
you
that
just
there would
ruined
be
my whole idea.
Sorry.
micro fluxes emitted from the pole pieces
Yeah.
that would be like various small fountains
Maybe.
coming over the strings and
Like
with-
that
a
are more
sprinkler.
powerful.
It's a sprinkler.
yes, a sprinkler.
So I think it does make a slight difference, but not the kind of difference that's, because
Marketed.
a string oscillates anyway. So the string is traveling around oscillating at a wide range anyhow. So
There's so many more pickup questions that I still have,
What's this
but
thing
we just
called?
don't have time right
Fascinating.
now.
one more pickup question.
No, I don't. We don't. We can't. We
All right, top
mustn't.
four.
We shouldn't. Because I think this next one's gonna.
We shan't.
Okay,
Shanat.
we'll bring it up again. Maybe we'll have a grab bag number 2. What the hell, right? Alrighty then. Top 4 is top 4. Yeah, I'll do effect right there. Top 4 is
Four,
our
four.
favorite female guitar player. Ooh. All right, Chris. Go ahead and say it for all of us.
We almost all said
yeah.
Bonnie Raitt, but I won
said
in a
it.
feat of strength
Yes.
against all of them to be able to have it be my top 4.
Yes.
So I would say Bonnie Raitt, in that her slide guitar style is maybe my favorite slide guitar.
It
period.
is magic to
it's
listen to
stanky.
for sure.
It's just got so much swagger to
She's
it.
just got she plays so effortlessly too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's got a great voice to go with it.
Oh, man, yeah, she's
she
the
is
bee's
class
knees, man.
act.
She's just a cool lady. I wish she was my aunt
Yeah,
or something like that.
That would be a cool aunt to have.
Would be a cool aunt.
All right, Jared.
Okay, my favorite female guitarist, Nancy Wilson. I love Heart. Heart is probably one of my favorite bands of all time. It's up there. And they love one of my favorite bands of all time. So we have something in common. They love Led Zeppelin. Yeah, we do. We have something. That's Led Zeppelin. I saw them at the Ohio State Fair a couple of years ago, and their whole last set, their encore set, was all Zeppelin, and they played it the best I've ever heard anyone play Led Zeppelin. So I love the way she plays. She had some cool guitars back in the day. Crazy on You, or is that the song where that has that acoustic solo in the beginning of it, right? Crazy on You.
Probably.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's
They
it.
all did at that point.
Well, she's an Ovation.
Oh, yeah. We
on
love
the
those.
stand.
We love those.
Yep, all that kind of thing. And
The big giant trench coat.
if you see the newer stuff she does live, she's been using Epiphone Les Pauls.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's weird. Maybe she just
Hey, Oasis rocked Epiphones too, man. Like back in the day, that's why I bought one.
Like the bargain Epiphone Les Pauls. Like you're Nancy Wilson. Why do you need to buy the bargain?
Yeah.
Deal.
Did she smash him at the end? Did she go crazy on it?
So.
I bet she was paid by
Crazy on it.
Epiphone.
That's probably a thing. All right, Jeff.
All right. So I'm going to go with a probably a more unknown person that I've just been I haven't been listening to her because I don't even know she has albums, but she has guitar teaching courses.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And her name is Jess Lewis. And you can find a lot of her stuff
old
on
is she?
Jam Tracks. Well, I'm not sure how old she is right now. It says she was 16 on some of these recordings. 16 years old.
Crazy.
And
She's
she
really
can,
good.
She's 21 now.
She mimics like any guitar player pretty well.
Yeah.
Incredible, accuracy and all the techniques. It's pretty amazing. So I just been like, when I first saw her, I was fascinated because she played an Aristocrat song. I'm like, holy crap, note for note, sounds just like it. That's amazing. At 16 years old.
One thing I'll give to us, especially
What
you and
you'll
I,
give to us.
is that we are true to the things we like. Exotic woods, aristocrats, right? It's
a great movie.
Yeah, I know.
Cats are amazing.
That's cool. If you guys haven't heard her, check her out on YouTube, Jess Lewis, Lewis, and pretty remarkable. Somebody asked me, what's my favorite?
What's your number 4, Todd?
Well, let me tell you. I would say, up to a certain point, I would have always gone with Joan Jett. I've mentioned her many times. I think she's a
If
badass.
you like one thing, it's Joan Jett.
But my guitar girl of choice is Brody Dahl. Like, hands down, that girl rocks harder than anybody I've ever, any other. Most people forget about she's girl or boy, whatever. That she just freaking rocks.
She's a girl or a boy.
She was the lead of her band, the Distillers. Great, fantastic punk band. Now married to Josh Homme. I know. See, that's one of those couples is like they got the trick E on both of their last names because Brody Dahl is Dalle, I think, and then her husband Josh Homme of Queens of the Stone Age has his E at the end. So I'm probably butchering their last names, but I have everything that she's made, and she smokes, absolutely smokes. And I love her style of playing and creating music. She's a badass. I like that. So them's the breaks, folks. It's a good bumper sticker. Anyhow, all right. That is it. So thank you, gentlemen. I think we hobnobbed a little bit too much on the front end of that.
That's my fault. I
don't know if we
apologize.
did.
Yeah.
I don't know if we did.
I
I'm
think it
pretty
was
sure we
longer
did.
than the whole pickup spiel.
It was about half of it.
My fault. Sorry.
that
So
was
anyways,
fun.
hey everybody, thank you for listening big time. We really appreciate it. We hope you liked this episode. If you want us to talk about anything else, hit us up. Go to www.theguitarknobs.com and check out all of our episodes and whatnot. And always remember to subscribe. Them's the breaks. Oh, that's it for these knobs. Please join us on Facebook.com/groups/guitar knobs and tell us what you think and share your stories and guitar stuff along with ours. You can also find us at twitter.com/guitar_knobs and also at our website at guitarknobs.podbean.com.